Okay, let me see if I can pick this up and show you. Now you have a sports bra. Check that out. Please don't try to go running in this. There's like no stability. But this is kind of cool. You have like, it basically looks like the beginning of a cardigan at the moment. We are right now going to join it in the round, so that way you can just, you don't have to purl anymore. It's not like I hate purling. I like purling better than doing dishes. But now we can work in the round and work in pattern, so that's going to be super great. Okay, so I have done the last row. So let me pull my pattern in here. So it says stop right there. So you need to perform this row. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to knit 5, because remember we've gotten our band down to 5 because on the previous row we did a bunch of purl 2 together. So now your buttonhole band is only 5 stitches instead of 8. So you are going to knit those 5. You're going to remove the marker and you're going to knit 1 more. Then you're going to put these onto a small stitch holder or a safety pin. So that's what I've done here, is I've just put them onto a safety pin, okay? Now it wants you to put these 6 stitches. So I have 6 stitches, 5 which are my buttonhole band, and this first one is actually part of my pattern. So it says to work in pattern across this row. This is the row I happen to be on, row 1. So see how it says knit 2? When I knitted that extra stitch, it actually stole from this. So now I'm only going to knit 1 before I bust into the pattern. So be sure to check where you are in the pattern, because that extra stitch, that 6th stitch that you're passing onto the marker, is actually the first stitch of the pattern. So be aware of that one. Okay, so then it says to knit in pattern all the way across. So here are my 6 stitches that I'm holding, blah, blah, blah. I've knit all the way across, fantastic. And now it says knit until you, there we go. Knit until you have 6 stitches left. Let me just get my needle back in here. I knew it was going to fall off, so I pulled it and untangle. Okay, so it says knit until you have 6 stitches left, okay? Then it says you are going to put these behind the 6 stitches on your needle. So here's what's going to happen. Let me untangle this. All right, I have a double pointed needle here, okay? I am going to take the stitches over here that are on the safety pin. Now that I'm safely across the entire row, I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to very carefully slip them onto a double pointed needle, okay? Now I am going to take these stitches that were on my safety pin, and I'm going to put them behind these stitches over here, okay? So I'm going to just give this some crazy room here. All right, so see what's happening here? I've got these over here on the needle. I'm holding them. Now, of course, I've got cable. Let me pull some slack so this is a little easier for you to see. All right. Now I'm going to take these that are on the opposite side, and I'm going to put these right in line so they're together. See that? Please ignore this cable. It's just super annoying. It'll get in your way. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm going to slip everything down like this. Okay. Now I am going to knit from both needles at the same time. Okay. So I'm going to grab this needle. I'm going to just move this stitch marker out of the way until I can knit it off of here. Okay, we'll move it out of the way. All right, so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go like I'm going to knit this first stitch here on the first needle. I'm going to go onto the cable needle or the double pointed needle, and I'm going to go in like I'm going to knit that one as well. I'm going to find my live yarn. I'm going to wrap. I'm going to come out of the one on the back needle and also out of the one on the front needle, just like that. Okay. Now I'm going to slip both of those very carefully off. Now I can get rid of this marker. I have 5 stitches left. So I'm going to go under the first, under the second, I'm going to wrap, and then I'm going to come under both of them. So I'm knitting them together, off. Under the first one, under the second one. And you can go slow if you want. I'm going to go around this one. I can come out of this one and then out of this one if I want. Or I can go under this one, wrap, and if you're very careful, you can come out of both at the same time. Okay, I have 2 left. I'm going to go under this one. I'm going to go under this one. Wrap around the both of those. Go under this one, under. Ooh, got it. All right. Slip both of these carefully off. And then the last one here. I'm going to go under this one and then also under this one. Wrap around both. Come out of both. Now I can pull this out. Okay? So now, check it out. I am totally joined in the round. Amazing! So let me just kind of straighten this out. Of course, it's upside down. Here are my shoulders. Here is the placket to my Henley. And now the 2 overlap right here, and I'm joined in the round. Awesome. So before you turn this off and get super excited and start to knit like the wind, because the rest of this part is really super easy, we have been doing the hourglass lace chart flat. So we need to edit our note cards. So let me move this out of the way. I'm going to grab my note card. All right. So this is no longer flat. Okay? This now becomes round. Okay? Now you don't have to edit this. You can remember this. It's not a problem. This is all the same. Row 2 is no longer purl. Row 2 is now knit because you are on the front side. Now, remember when we do a double yarn over, when you turn it over and you purl the row, when you get to that first double yarn over, you knit one and then you purl the second part of it. Does that make sense? You are going to do that same thing, except you're going to purl the first part of it and then knit the second part of it. Does that make sense? So be sure to not forget that part. Now, of course, on my card here, I just have knit. I don't actually write that, but you can see I had purl too. I didn't actually call that out, but I remembered that when you get to a double yarn over, one of the loops is a knit and one of the loops is a purl. So you're going to be doing that same thing even though you're working in the round. Okay, let's take a quick look at the pattern here. Okay, now after you join in the round, it has how many stitches you should have, okay? So do yourself a favor and tell everybody in your house to shut up and count them all just to make sure. If you're a couple off, it's not a big deal. I will tell you that to get to this spot, I kind of jacked up the pattern several times and I had to like, oops, there's a yarn over where it shouldn't be. Let's just knit that 2 together with something else. Or oops, I forgot a yarn over. Let's just add it in right now. So the glory is this hourglass pattern is so busy that nobody sees if you just throw those in, which I did many times, and I bet you'll never notice at the end. Okay, so now what I'm supposed to do, after I verify my count, there's a note here that says for some sizes, the front and the back don't match. So it says you should have this many for the front and this many for the back. So on some sizes, they're not the same, but it's fine. There's a pattern repeat, and sometimes it has to change. So that note is just telling you if your stitches are different on the front and back, it's okay. Don't freak out. So now it says that we're supposed to break the yarn and slip all the stitches to the right needle until you reach the following marker on one of the sides. All right, so here we are. Let me get my needles together now that I'm in the round. So exciting. All right, let's flip this over, stuff this in. Okay, so now I'm going to break the yarn. So I'm going to find my live yarn. I'm going to leave a nice long tail that'll be easy to weave in later. And I'm going to clip my yarn and just throw it over here. Now I'm going to slip stitches to the right needle until I hit a stitch marker, okay? Now in this case, the sides are easy to identify because we've got ribbing right there, so that's fantastic. So leaving this tail just hanging out, I am going to start slipping stitches this direction, just moving them from one needle to the other, nice and slow and careful, until I reach the first stitch marker. All right, so I've got 3 stitches left to pass. I'm going to pass this. I'm going to pass. Whoa! Pass this last one. Don't get the one below it. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of this marker. This is going to be my new end of round. So I'm going to put a super sweet Whip Night stitch marker there. Okay, so this is my new end of round. Okay, so now that we've got that established, let's take a look at the pattern and talk about what's going to happen next. So start working the body in the round as follows. Next round, you're going to do your purl 1, knit 1 until you hit your marker. Then you're going to work the following row of this, but you're going to do it flat this time. Okay, or sorry, in the round, not flat. You're going to do it in the round. Fantastic. And you're going to continue knit 1, purl 1 on the ribbing sections. And that's it. And you're just going to go and go and go and go and go. So you and I are not going to talk to each other until we get to sleeves. So there's a few other things that we need to chat about as you're doing the body. Okay, so you're going to continue working in the round until it measures 7 inches from your armhole. Then you're going to start some shaping. Okay, so we do a few decreases for the waist, and then we turn around and do a few increases for the hips. Okay, so nothing super spectacular. Then you keep going in your pattern, and then you'll do a hem. All right? So you've got some decreases here. Here's a decrease round. So just make sure and follow these instructions for the decrease round. And it says continue working in pattern, repeating a decrease round every 8th row twice more. Okay, so basically you're going to do 3 decrease rounds total. Then you're going to do 7 rows, and then you're going to start the increase round, and then you're going to get back up to size. Okay. Continue working in the pattern, increasing round every 8th row twice more. So again, that's 3 increase rounds. And then it says there's a little note, work a knit increase, make 1 left and make 1 right, so the new stitches adjust to the ribbing pattern correctly. Okay, so use your judgment there. If you're in the ribbing pattern and you're doing an increase, you should make a purl 1, or maybe you should make a knit 1 when you do your increase, because you want the ribbing to stay. And we know how to do the make 1 left purl if we need to. Okay, after the very last increase, you're going to work straight in pattern until it measures 16 inches after the armhole, and then you're going to start the bottom hem. Now, the bottom hem is pretty easy. It's just ribbing, basically, so that's no problem. Now, there is a note in here that once you get to 16 inches, if you feel like you want it a little longer, beware, because this pattern tends to grow. We talked about that in swatch a little bit. So, it's always good with these top-down sweaters if you want to try it on. My cables have a little piece that screw together, and I can add another piece of cable, or you can put it on another piece of yarn, for example, all your stitches, and then you can try it on and then just pull it a little bit, and then when you block it, you'll pull it a little bit, and you can see if that's the right length for you, or if you want to add a little more before you bust into the ribbing hem at the end. So pretty simple from here. Nice and relaxing knit. Now that it's just in the round, again, no purling, which is music to my ears. So I am going to get going on mine, and after I get to my hem, I will see you right back here for the sleeves.